Just to give a little bit of back history on the game for people that aren't aware, this is a game that was created by former Ubisoft developers, and this is made by a team of like I think 33 of them. That blows
Yeah.
me
So
away.
there's like 30 core developers, and then there's like 10 to 15 like contractors slash testers that are involved. So yeah.
From what I remember too, I think the writer for the actual game, like initially wasn't even supposed to write it. I think she was either on the dev team or part of the music. She was part of some other part of the team in itself initially, and then they brought her over to write like the story for the game. This first off amazes me as somebody that is getting more into the backgrounds of gaming and what it takes to make a game. One of the things that I've heard for years now, and in a lot of background behind the scenes video footage when you're seeing like how games are made, it's usually like when I'm looking, I think I remember I've seen the behind the scenes footage for the Santa Monica studios when they did the 2018 God of War. It was like this massive building with like 20 or 30 people in each station working on different things. So when I look at that and then I go to look at something like this to where it's so polished and honestly on the same tier as a game of that quality, but it's made with such a small team, that fucking amazes me. Teams this small and this compact and this efficient can make a game of this quality, then how many other Expedition 33s do we have on the horizon potentially if we're given smaller groups like this a chance?
Quite honestly, there's going to be a lot. And I think some of that has to do with the state of the video game industry, where like AAA and even like the quadruple A games, as some people like to label them as, they're like kind of falling in. And I think there's a special place for like Call of Duty, your GTA. I feel like those will stay quadruple A games, and those continue to make gangbusters as they continue to sell every time they drop. But then we have games like, for instance, Final Fantasy 16 was a solid game. It was different as a Final Fantasy game, but it was still a really good game and probably has one of the best stories in Final Fantasy for quite some time. And it didn't sell well on PlayStation, despite the fact it was a good game. And they put it on Xbox, and then I think on Xbox they said it only sold like 15,000 copies. It's not selling well, despite the fact that it has a great story, it has beautiful graphics, it has okay gameplay. The other reason I think this is going to happen outside of AAA games and quadruple A games collapsing is because this is something me and Perry talked about at the beginning of this generation. Unreal is making it so easy for smaller developers to create larger games. It will continue to happen because every 6 months to a year, we hear about them rolling out more assets, more tools, more ways to use it, less restraint. And it seems like the further we get into our current generation, and obviously the further we get into development of the PC master race, we're starting to see that a lot of developers are starting to learn how to use this material, this equipment, this engine a bit more. And I think the more those skills get refined, the more these smaller studios are going